Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox show. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and today's show is Uniting Our Intentions with Tim Ray. Before I bring Tim Ray on, I want to say something. What a beautiful, powerful name. Now, people, you don't get this, but, I know that Tim put this together way before we ever got into this C-word situation. And the reality is he's dead on because we need to unite our intentions. You know what? We all have good intentions, right? I have good intentions. You have good intentions. And we all have good intentions to be good to ourselves. But did you ever notice that the more exciting something is and the more life-changing it is, if you can't keep the fear, from coming up or boiling up, or the anxiety in yourself, it only takes 1 second before that subconscious grabs onto it and says, no, you don't. So understand something. I don't think people really get this. And this is why we have to unite, because I need your support. And you may not know this, but you need my support. You need Tim's support. But we need your support. Now, here's the deal. When you're on your own and you have this beautiful thought on how you'd like to change your life, how often do you actually do it? How many people out there have regrets because they could not unite their intentions with their heart and spirit? Okay, so that's why we have to come together and we have to unite, because we're strong in numbers. Now, every time that you have good intentions, great intentions, the more difference that the frequency is to what you are. So if you, let's say you vibrated at this level and this was way up here, your subconscious right away will say, get scared, this is different, we're not doing this. And it doesn't matter if it could have saved your life. So this is why we have to unite together, and then somebody starts to feel a little bit weak, because we've all been programmed, which we're going to find from today's show. We've all been programmed. So united we stand, divided we fall. So don't tell me that we need to come apart to come together. You know what? Everything's an oxymoron. Okay? Don't let them make you into one of those. All right? So today, it's really a great honor, because Tim Ray thinks at that vibration that I love, that we could actually sit down and have a actual conversation and even talk about something that might be a little bit negative, but see the positive in it. Because when two come together, we change the world. In 2009, Tim Ray founded United Intentions, an organization that provides resources and programs to awaken and unite people to the power of their intentions. These programs and tools are to help people understand that their thoughts shape their reality. But guess what? They also shape their personality. And the reality is most people think that your personality came with you. No. It was designed by default by other people. And this is why we're here today, to talk about that and so many other things. How you doing, Tim?
Wonderful, Doc. I am so excited about being here. Love all the work you're doing, and when you're talking about uniting intentions, it truly is. The reason why I even started the foundation was all about, I knew that was the solution through what we eventually be going through, is what we're going through right now, this crisis. And it was, like I said, it was created back in 2009, knowing that this moment would come in time when this is the way through where we are right now. And I'm seeing unfold, and people like yourself who get it, that we are and everything is frequency, that it's so important now to be able to realize that as we unite our intentions, we create this specific frequency that will actually help create the reality that we want to choose to live in, which we'll get into later on. But you're spot on, and I'm just so grateful to be here and so blessed to be to know somebody like your caliber, and who's God sent for being here at this time of crises in the world that we're experiencing, or at least a crisis of perception.
That's right, but thank you, because it goes both ways. I feel the same way about you, my friend. And but when we talk about crisis, everyone, but understand something, and you mentioned this, and you said this time of crisis. But the reality is dependent on the personality if this is actually a crisis for anyone. Because I guess, it's all about your intentions and what the intentions out there, the intentions of the media. What about that one? The intentions of the government. And then do your intentions vibrate at their intentions? And if you do, what do you think of that?
Yeah. Well, it really is. I mean, the truth of the matter is it's a crisis of perception. And unfortunately, most of us, talking about the 7.5 billion, if that's even accurate, people here in this world, are caught into this frequency of crisis, perceived crisis, because why? You just said it. They're listening to mainstream media. They're listening to the government. They're listening to people with maybe not so good intentions, deceiving people and lying often, which we're finding out is a daily process these days, or at least many people are waking up to that. Their intentions are not good, Doc. Their intentions are malintended if you really get down, if you look into the specifics of it. So as we let go of these malintentions of others, because what we do is when we're ignorant or we're not aware of it, we incorporate them into our own belief system, and their intentions now becomes our intentions. So we actually start manifesting realities for others unknowingly because we don't realize the power of our own intentions. So the sooner we claim back our power and realize that we can create our world through our intentions, we can pull them from within ourselves. We don't have to borrow others. Usually that we'll find out either that are malintended or have the intentions that are not in line with what we truly want to experience. So the sooner the better we realize the level of how we can incorporate intentions, our own intentions, and then create our own news, what we want to experience each day, exactly what you're doing in your work.
Absolutely. And when you were talking about intentions, I guess what you were saying is that your intentions might be exactly the people you hang around with the most and the things you listen to the most. What do you think of that?
Yeah, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
And that's I tell my kids all the time. So whatever group you're in, whatever you get your information from, and intentions are a purposeful thought. It's thoughts. Thoughts have physical properties. They actually have a frequency, unique frequency to it. A positive thought, as you know, has a specific frequency to it compared to a negative thought. And so as we surround ourselves with people perhaps with not positive intentions, or thoughts are very let's say low frequency or low vibrational, if you want to use that word, or dialed in on a different area on the radio dial frequency, we called entrainment. We match those frequencies, and our brain literally entrains that level of what we're experiencing. So, for example, if we're watching, Fox News or MSNBC or CNN every day, every minute, we're hearing about the coronavirus now is spreading and it's killing more people, and it's having this effect everywhere, and may not even be reality. In fact, I believe it's not reality, if that's even the right word to use. But the fact that we're watching it, we're entraining to that frequency, and we're matching that frequency, and now we're intentionally creating that frequency. So our experiences, when I wake up in the morning and I go outside, I'll see people with masks and in fear all the time, versus if I didn't incorporate that intention and I was vibrating at a higher frequency or a more positive frequency, I would not have those experiences. My subconscious mind would not actually attract and unfold the let's say the energy field and collapse it into a reality of matter. I would not have that experience. My subconscious mind wouldn't be doing that because I'm pulling from a different level of frequency. And it seems a little like easy to say, but quantum physics supports that, as well as most other sciences that really dive into it. But it's hard to really incorporate into our daily life because it's invisible. Thoughts are invisible. We don't give it a lot of credit because we may know intellectually that they have physical properties and they may collapse the wave into matter on a quantum level. But in reality, we're so trained as humans to let our unconscious run the show and to be distracted by what's the shiny objects out there in the world. What happens on the media, what happens on entertainment, what's the latest distraction that will be involved in the COVID crisis, the rioting going on. You go look on Facebook, it's the fighting. Everybody's fighting each other. By the way, it goes against Facebook policy, but they still continue with it. And, it's nonstop. You're creating others' intentions. Now you're in trading to that level of frequency. And so, the way out, of course, is the obvious, is to stop, cut it off, regroup, go within, and start learning how to create the reality, create the frequency that you want to experience, which is not so easy to do, even though the solution is so easy. It takes discipline. It takes, concentration. It takes courage in many ways for many people to let go of giving authority over to others and power over to others, and to reclaim it back for the first time, to realize that we are divine, powerful, spiritual beings. We truly are. On every level, and that can be proven in many ways. However, it's just right now, most of us have been raised in a society or societies that we give our power over to authority. And we have been conditioned more so in the last so many decades that this authority that is malintended, to me is obviously malintended, that we allow it to occur. And this is the time, I think, of a great awakening. And I'm very excited, Doc. As you know, this is a Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl right now for humanity. And, and I'm here alive, and I'm sure you are as well, and millions of others who are the, I call the unorganized truth, are here to really help bring this reality and help give peace, love, and energy to others, and hope, in the sense that you can claim your own power back. It's not going to be Donald Trump's going to come save the day. It's not going to be the Democrats. It's not going to be, the Rothschilds or any world leader around the planet here. It's going to be you. It's going to be me and every other 7.5 billion persons out there. Step up into our own power and realize that we create and co-create our reality. So we're going to have to really start looking at what we're creating and connect the dots from thought to experience.
Absolutely. You couldn't be so right. And the thing is but the problem that we have is that the deck is not loaded on our side until we're awake. I mean, most people don't even know that 90% of their brain is their subconscious, so they don't realize that they're at least 95% of the day in their subconscious. So, but I know that these are the things that you try to teach people is that to make them more conscious. I mean, if we can become more conscious, that's the only way we can create a new thought or create a new shape in our personality, correct?
Absolutely. And there's many strategies. One of the strategies that I pulled together, and it was the documentary The Matrix, right? Is, you believe it or not, if you look at The Matrix and how Neo and the gang there, Morpheus, how he had to use the Matrix. He had to click in and connect into the Matrix, into the illusion, to pull people out of the illusion. So he used the Matrix to actually wake people up. So as you are talking about the New World Order, and you're talking about the Agenda 21 and Agenda 30, as we discuss these things, in reality, part of this Matrix life we experience, this is us going into the Matrix, letting people see it. Hey, you're wearing a mask and you're cutting your CO2 off. Think about that for a second, right? And so we got to go in the Matrix to show people that there's another alternative listening to. Use your own critical thinking. And then when they start doing that, then that means I'm not going to listen to CNN, or that means I'm not going to listen to Dr. Fauci. And so they're questioning this authority, reality, or the plug into the Matrix for the first time. And so they're awake. And then when they start becoming more awake, as we start unplugging people, the Neos, from the Matrix, from the big lie, and everything is a lie at this point. As people wake up, the corruption is so astounding that most of us can't even fathom it. And so as they wake up into this reality, that's when I think there's opportunity, that they're like, oh my God, who do I run to? Who do I run to? That's when I think they'll be more open-minded, Doc, to say, you know what? Hey, thoughts create reality. So I could start I choose the type of thoughts I believe, and I start syncing my unconscious beliefs with my conscious beliefs, and I can start creating different experiences in my life, and these things can unfold. Thoughts first, reality second. I mean, and then now you're giving them a tool, like, okay, maybe I don't need to listen to the Democrats or the Trumps or whoever is out there running Canada right now, or Trudeau, isn't it? So maybe we don't need to listen to them. I could start doing this on my own. And this is the awakening. This is the I see the great awakening that is occurring as more people start questioning the reality. And I tell you what, if you haven't, and I mean you and your viewers haven't questioned reality in the last 3 months at this point on some level, then you really have your head too deep in the sand, and you're gonna have an awakening yourself, and it probably is not going to be pretty.
Yeah. Well, we hope that they wake up today. The reality is that everybody deserves to have a beautiful day. Everybody deserves to have a perfect day, but you got to put action and power behind it. So I want to ask you a question before we go further. So how is censorship taken control over the media? How would you say that you see it?
Well, I always knew about it before because I was always hip to the propaganda on the mainstream media for years. They create the narrative, like conservative versus liberal, right? Liberal is very dominant in the United States, and the conservative is a smaller group. However, nevertheless, it was, even on the conservative side, I think they're more dangerous than the liberal side. And I'm pretty critical thinking, I guess, conservative fiscally, maybe liberal in the sense of socially. But when it comes to listening to people who are acting conservative, but they're really not. They're just limited in the box of what you can say. So if you question them with, well, what about the Rothschilds and what's going on with the Rockefellers and what's this this Bilderberg group and what's this trilateral commission? Why are some of the presidents, Republican, Democrat, are part of these Council of Foreign Relations? I mean, you say that to these conservative Fox News group, and no, you can't talk about that. God forbid you ever mention that to the Democrats, right? But it's just, you realize, okay, this is all propaganda, and this has been going on for decades now. It's a whole separate gig going on. You got what goes on in our reality, what we consider reality on television, and in the day-to-day we live, and then you have the reality of deep state, the propaganda machine. So I knew about that for a long time. But the censorship that I've noticed that I think is so, I didn't realize that it would come to the point where they'd be so blatant about it until the last 3 months. I mean, I saw a level of censorship that I thought, this is communistic censorship at this point. And if you don't think communism and fascism has taken over in the United States, for example, has taken over our power brokers, I'm talking about on the level, not just from the presidency, I'm talking about the level of every governor, Republican, Democrat, every mayor, Republican or Democrat, are being influenced, if not deliberately buying into this New World Order agenda, Agenda 21, or being blackmailed into it. And as I see this, I see why companies and everyone's wearing masks still, and everyone's are going against the herd immunity issue. We could have been over it like Sweden was months ago if we allowed it to occur. But we've been prolonging it, and now it's going to be prolonged, and they're going to use this prolonging of it deliberately to move us down another level of surveillance and control. But the censorship from Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, you talk about platforms that were always neutral in the past, now have shown their colors in the last few months. That has just been astounding. I mean, I watch, and of course I don't watch mainstream media anymore, but I'll throw on now the internet that used to be. Now that they're becoming the mainstream media propaganda. And I'm like, wow, where do we go? It's like this shrinking knowledge of truth of a platform for truth to be offered out there, universal truth to be offered out there is shrinking. And hence, that's my industry. United UI Media Network, that's my industry. And I could see it that. At the same time, I also noticed the God-loving truth seekers out there are seeking networks out like ours, like mine. And they're realizing, wow, I am not getting the truth from Facebook anymore, or from Google, or from Vimeo, or any of the other ones. I'm getting truth from people like Dr. Wolfe, people like Ben Swan, people like Del Bigtree, people who are coming out and saying, hey, you know what? We've been saying this for a while now, but this is all tied together. We're all connected on a level of information never seen before. And so you could talk about detox. I could tie that into the New World Order agenda of the climate change. You could talk about the vaccines, and I could tie that into the chemtrails. So it's all interconnected with an agenda that's starting to show the pieces now. So as the piecemeal this surveillance and this 1984 experience over the decades, it's starting to show the figure, the silhouette of the person starting to be seen now from all the pieces that were put together over the decades. And people who are astute and are watching this very carefully, like yourself and myself and many others, are now seeing who those faces are. And I think it's great, because one, I always say, when you have to use your power, you lose your power. So finally, they're making their move. The censorship is off the board, and they're using their power to censor. And all that means, it may take a while, maybe a lot of pain and suffering in between, a lot of problems we have to go through, but it's the end of the agenda, because now they're using their power. And this is, to me, a great thing. This is a great time to be alive, very exciting time to be alive, a very scary time to be alive. But it's a great time to be part of this witnessing. We're witnessing an awareness of this awakening. And if we could help with the process, and I mean the process of awakening, if we could actually co-op and co-op the different agendas of this new world order to where we can unite citizens around the world for a loving, positive experience of creating our reality. We could co-opt that movement and to make it even more powerful. And to me, so instead of going a rock against a rock and stopping it, I say we go with the flow and then we co-op and create the reality we want with uniting a whole world. And I think that's going to take some planning, some organizing, some meetings, many truth seekers out there who understand and see what's going on. Because as you know, if you had all the money in the world, Dr. Wolfe, you could do something like what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, the people who have all the money in the world do not want that. They want just the opposite of that. And their agenda is being seen every day, especially in the last 3 months, through the censorship issues that we're all experiencing. I know you are as well as I.
Yeah, I this whole thing when you're talking about like a blackout in the media, yesterday it popped up on my phone on Messenger and I watched it, and it was actually I don't know. There's this program where they go and they went and talked about all Bill Gates's mansions all over the world, and they just built him up to be this guy that's philanthropic, and at the end they go, and just know this: the man that's going to change the world. He donated $48 billion, but what people, when they hear that, they go, oh my God, he's so nice, 48 billion. Wow, we couldn't even think of 48 billion. But what people don't know was he donated it to people like the World Health Organization, things like FEMA, things like United Nations, things like the National Institute of Health. So, and he also donated vaccinating so many people in India and in Africa that right now are trying to get him into court.
Well, and it's not a donation. I mean, on the books, it looks like a donation, but actually, it's a buyout. He bought off the WHO to make the COVID-19 their big entry foot in the door to create the crisis, to move the whole Agenda 21, the whole agenda of surveillance, contact tracing, and the forced vaccinations, which are coming down the road until we wake up to this. So he basically bought out. Just bought out the WHO, and they went hook, line, and sinker. So I just think that, we got to call for what it is. Now, was I in the back room listening to Bill Gates saying, hey, here's $48 billion. I need you to go along and pretend like everyone needs to wear a mask and roll this out with contact tracing across. I want every country now to lock down at the same time. I want to organize all this. Did I see all that happening? No. But you know what? In court of laws, at least in the United States, circumstantial evidence is enough to find somebody guilty. You don't have to actually witness a crime, all right? Circumstantial evidence, and if you start putting the pieces together, that's enough to at least start an independent investigation, at least start an independent jury process to see exactly what interactions and conflict of interest with Bill Gates and the WHO. I mean, hell, we could just start with the fact that he patents vaccines, and we are locked down now around the world until I want people to understand, you're going to continue wearing a mask. You're going to continue social distancing. You can continue all of this until you take this vaccine. The vaccine is the blackmail. The vaccine is what's going to stop this insanity that we're experiencing right now. It's all part of design. Our insanity, the corruption, the censorship, the insanity of people saying wear a mask, don't wear a mask. We know they don't work, whatever, is all part of the energy shakeup to make us feel uncomfortable, to make us feel unease, disease. And so then the solution, which is an even worse solution than what we're experiencing now, the vaccinations, when they roll down, that's going to be then, okay, all your problems will go away. All you got to do is take this vaccine. And you know what? Right now, until enough people wake up, the majority of people around the world will get in line for it. And that's unfortunate right now. And that's why I'm out doing what I do. And that's why I started the UI Media Network. And that's why, I spend time with people such as yourself, Dr. Wolfe, trying to wake people up every day.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I just think people, they will take the vaccine because they just can't take the pain anymore. They can't, Tim. And because they don't have the tools, they don't have the skills. Nobody's ever given them to them. I mean, you look at, by the time you get out of high school, you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to do your finances. You don't know how to love yourself or anyone else. So, so that's the reality of it. So it's not like people are dumb. It's just they've been programmed. Talk to me about frequency wars. What's that all about?
Sure. All right. This is our next endeavor. we have a couple of shows online on our network. We have a lot of shows on the network, but the shows that I'm involved in is called Awaken Atlanta. It's kind of a local show. We started a morning show with my co-host Shannon McVeigh, where we talk about some of the top information. Like we're having a show on police brutality. We had a show on all different types of topics that we have that are a little more fun, a little more livelier. We have special guests come on throughout the morning. And then, of course, I had the Good Intention Show, which I have now. This is our background for it, where I interview people such as yourself, which we did a couple of weeks ago. We have Dr. Rose Michaels coming on, Sandra Rose Michaels coming on next Wednesday, talking about masks. We had Dale Bigtree on. A lot of there's power brokers out there who are really truth seekers, and we'll just spend an hour discussing problems and solutions. And then, of course, now my next I'm probably going to be moving into what's called frequency wars. And to me, I'm very excited about this. This is all about what you talk about, is how everything's frequency. And we're here, we function and make decisions in a very limited bandwidth of frequency from our five senses. And, as a dog, of course, as you know, hears things that we can't hear. So we think it's not occurring, right? It's not part of our reality. But in the dog's reality, their frequency's here and they're hearing something. So that noise is being heard in in a reality, but it's not ours because our limited bandwidth cannot pick it up, right? Now, you look at every five sense like that if we're able to extend our five senses and maybe throw in an extra sense there too, right? You're talking about a bigger aspect of reality, a reality that we can't see going forward on our day-to-day in this three-dimensional world that we live in, but a reality that's actually occurring simultaneously as this reality, limited reality that we're experiencing right now. So frequency wars is going to be dealing with outside of that reality and looking at how we can move forward, because in our reality, we feel proof by using what we call the scientific method. In the beyond the frequency, but beyond our normal reality, you could use probably most of the scientific method up to the last one of duplicating the experience. That one gets a little lost because you don't have the same level of physics, or at least same level of understanding of physics from this reality to use that one. So we need to come with another scientific method over time, and people are working on it that will help incorporate and understand what goes beyond our reality, at least our beyond our limited reality. So Frequency Wars will be interviewing top leaders out there, like we've already interviewed David Icke, of course, David Wilcock, Riz Verk, people who have different experiences with frequencies and understanding that there's much more going out. This is going into the paranormal. See, paranormal exists. It's just beyond our frequency reality. And so we all could be sharing the same space, but we're just looking at a different dialing on the radio. So we're going to be going in that direction of sharing and creating a story of as a human being, how do we expand not only our reality and expand our frequency, but how do we enjoy life here on this three-dimensional world and still stay in line with this beyond reality, the spiritual aspect of reality, and perhaps maybe even incorporate it. And the more we shed light on that, I mean, light being data, right? Light being information, then the more perhaps we'll be able to experience more love as well. So I think that's really our agenda, and it is our frequency wars, the next revolution. We believe that is what it is. It will be the next revolution. What is actually influencing us from beyond this reality? We have people in our heads saying things to us right now, entities attached to us. Are these things real? Are these things actually occurring? And if they are, how do we address them and how do we look at them? And there are a lot of people out there who are doing just that. And so I'm really looking forward to going where my real interest has always been in the frequency wars and the frequency reality beyond our five senses. But at the same time, I don't want to take away from our three-dimensional experience, because I think we are naturally multi-dimensional beings. That's who we are. That's our spiritual self. And I believe we chose to be in this third dimension with limited bandwidth. It wasn't like an accident. We might have been manipulated by entities or whatever the case may be, but I believe we chose to have this experience for the experience of it all. And so we need to honor that and be here present for that moment. But I think as we explore and understand reality beyond reality, I think it will help us appreciate and stay present and appreciate what it's like to feel, what it's like to touch, what it's like to love, what it's like to be human. And to me, I think that's going to be the connection there, how we can appreciate who we are and how powerful of a spiritual being we really are when we realize when we go beyond our frequency and beyond our normal reality. That's what it's about.
So yeah. So what you're saying is that we should go inward and we should actually start observing ourselves more.
Oh, absolutely. And I think as we do that, we expand our frequency. And we pick up on, we start hearing things more, we start seeing things more, we start feeling things more, more than we're used to feeling and experiencing. And as we expand our five senses, we bring in other senses, perhaps a sixth sense, a knowing, right? And I think when we go down that direction, what occurs is not so much the need for technology, but we start experiencing telepathy. I tell you, at this point, I can't prove it because I don't have the scientific method to prove it, but I know I'm telepathically communicating with my animals. I could tell you, my dogs are seeing visions in there, and I'll think of something and they'll do it. And I have these, and it sounds a little crazy, but I'm not saying it happens all the time, but at moments I experience that, even with my other animals too. And what I notice is this harmony that I experience now with animals, because they're so much more open-minded and less ego-oriented than other humans, right? And I see this experience and my experimentation with that as a really hopefulness for, as human beings, we will be able to move forward in a reality of love and connection to other human beings, because they're now expanding their frequency of what we truly are, which is mighty powerful spiritual beings.
So basically, so are you saying that what people need to do is they need to take a look at themselves to see maybe where they're self-sabotaging?
Okay, yeah, let's go there. I mean, that to me is the biggest piece of it, because as you said earlier, unconsciously, our unconscious is the boss. It says, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm the boss. Not really. No one's the boss. Your unconscious mind's the boss. It's always been in charge from day one. And it always will be in charge, at least here in the three-dimensional world. It will always be in charge. So you got to honor that. You got to respect that. You got to give it respect, as they say, right? You got to be able to appreciate that your unconscious, which means you really don't know, is really running the show. What you and the behaviors you do, the decisions you make, is really being, and the reality that you're creating is really coming from 95% at least, or less or more, of your brain, right? Or at least of that level of consciousness, or unconsciousness. And so, yes, and unfortunately, because of our programming, as you know, in the first so many years of life, we have, we've learned we had a lot of bad experiences and learned a lot of bad ways of doing things in life, and I'm not saying you have to have a traumatic experience in life or multiple times in growing up in the first 7 years to have a really bad unconscious. I mean, most of the, things that we learn are very, are learned through observing unconscious observation, so we learn something that there's a connection, we connect it, and it makes no sense, It's like, I have to work, 30 hours, I have to work 15 hours a day to be successful in life. That's a belief system. Many people grew up learning that from their parents or from whatever the experience is, rather than, reality is, well, you don't have to work 15 hours hard a day. You have to work smarter. You have to think, you have to just be smarter about what you're doing. Maybe meet a different couple of people who can help you do something. You don't have to, but that's an unconscious belief that we will keep in our minds, which is a self-sabotaging belief. That I can never, I can't have a really emotional relationship with someone until I show success. There's another subconscious belief that people will have, especially entrepreneurs, that they'll stay away from connecting because they don't feel worthy enough. And so they think, well, for me to enjoy myself, I have to work hard for that day. And so, and there's a mild ones, but they're much more severe. But these are programs, and they call them programs because they are programs and beliefs that actually help us, our unconscious mind or our brain scan for those type of realities. And so instead of looking at the world as an opportunity right now for me to go out and make a lot of money, or me to go out and do a lot of good in the community, my subconscious mind could be running at a level of, hey, what do I need to do to hold on to what I have? What's next thing is going to come that's going to take away what I have? And that's a programming from a long time ago that we believe, self-sabotaging belief, that will occur. And in the greatest example, and I I'm sure you know this as well, Doc, is the lotto winners. 95 to 100%, 99% of the lotto winners who win the big dollars end up going broke in the first year, or at least in the 3 years, end up in prison or actually die. You talk about almost the majority of people who win the lottery do that. Why? Because it's simple, self-sabotaging behavior. They never had this opportunity before. They were programmed to lose. They were programmed to fail. They're programmed to procrastinate, which is another behavior program of failure, program, right? I believe I don't deserve this, so I'm going to do everything I possibly can not to do this because I don't deserve it. And so this is what's really in charge of our decisions that we make every day. And not that we don't, not that I don't think you ever get past those unconscious issues. I could slip back into mine any given time, but because I did work on mine, I'm quicker to regroup from it. I'm quicker to move out of that. I'm quicker to say, oh, I screwed that up. Why did I sabotage that situation? But it's just like you said, going within, realizing what are my programs? What are Tim Ray's programs? What are your programs? And then what can you do to help you stop self-sabotaging that program? And so I think there's a lot of things you can do consciously. There's a lot of, subconscious programming that you could do as well, and a lot of different techniques people use all around the world. I mean, we offer some as well as I'm sure many others, but it's just a matter of understanding that we're really not in charge. However, the more we explore within, the more we'll be able to put our hands on the steering wheel and stop listening to our subconscious mind in the back seat, being the backseat driver, telling us where to go. It may say go left, but now my hands are on the wheel. I'm conscious of it. I might not know where I'm going, but I can decide to go right if I want to, or I can decide to go left if I want to. I don't always have to listen to the guy in the back seat. And periodically, the more I forgive and not use shame and not use guilt and learn all those techniques of understanding, then my guy in the back seat will start liking me more, and I'll start liking him more. And as I start to like each other more, we're going to start agreeing. And as we start agreeing, that's called our syncing up. We're syncing our subconscious and conscious mind up. As we're agreeing and we're liking each other, at least for that moment, we could then decide where we want to go. A little bit clear, a little bit easier, not arguing. No, I'll stop the fighting, or I'll hit you, right? Like you did when you were kids, right? And it's you can have a different experience. And this is where I think going within will help us not only resolve many of these main issues that each of us have within ourselves right now, but at least you can focus on what's a priority in your life. Because there's no way, Doc, as you know, there's no way you're ever going to resolve all the unconscious observations that threw you off that are just harmful or self-sabotaging. But you can address some of the big ones in a lifetime to be able to help you to have a more peaceful, more loving, more happier experience. And at least that's my take on it. And I think a critical way, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, going within is really the only way to go through, is go in.
Beautiful. How about telling me what you see for our future and what you think that humankind needs to do? How's that?
Well, big words, but
Yeah.
I'm a forever optimist. I really am. I believe I have a higher purpose here. I don't know exactly what it is. I do believe that the purpose is unfolding as each day goes by. Even when I started the United Intentions Foundation, it was not so much I knew what I was doing. To me, it was like the Field of Dreams. How, build it and they will come. Build it and I'll figure out what I'm doing, right? And it has evolved, has changed. It has changed to now it's a UI media network, right? A nonprofit. So it's been evolving, and I'm going with the flow of what it is. I mean, I could be, I own another successful home health care company, and I could be traveling around the world right now on a yacht and enjoying myself and sitting back and laughing at everybody, wearing masks and all that jazz. But, to me, that's not my purpose here. I really felt my purpose is uniting people's intentions and uniting people's understanding of this awakening and this process. Now, the future I see, as an old Trekkie, I do see a positive future. I do see us not money being driving the force of why we wake up and do things. I do see free energy. We already had the ability to do it a long time ago. It's just been shut off and suppressed by these power brokers that we're dealing with right now. We're trying to bring us down a road of even more surveillance, more pain and suffering, more slavery. So the reality I like to create is the opposite of that. I would like to be able to, I see us co-opting this new world order and bringing a world understanding of space exploration, free energy, not a moneyless society, not a cashless society where they want you to control you through other means of money and control of the RFID chip. I mean, where I'm waking up in the morning, like many of the, the native Indians here in America and in Canada, money wasn't a big function for their lives. They were able to go forward and do what they wanted to experience And here now, imagine doing that with the technology that we have today. And I truly believe that space exploration, if you talk to really a lot of key people out there, has been occurring, hasn't stopped occurring just because we don't have a lot of NASA trips. But I do believe we can be and are industrializing our solar system. I think humankind does not need to be depopulated as Agenda 21 is doing. I think that's so unnecessary. I think what's most important is realize that we can start not only exploring our space within ourselves, but with the technology that we have today, we could revert that, start exploring the space outside of ourselves, expand even more consciousness. And I think if we get people who balance within them and they understand their understanding of our unconscious as a human being now, I'm not saying just as a spiritual being, that may not be our purpose to explore space and have these different experiences, but as a human being, if we are to succeed and to flourish and to grow, then I do see space being our next opportunity. Having a group of people come together for like-minded purpose, not for a dollar, not because they have to do it, and exploring strange new worlds, right? And new life and all that jazz that goes along with it. And I see we can create that with Space Forces. I think we could create a free energy here in this world as we start uniting and realizing that life is abundance. It doesn't have to be deprivation or envy that they have more than me. We're so mindset of I can't have that. They have to have this. I can't have what they have. And as we shift from that mindset and the heart set of lack to abundance, I think that reality can unfold. And we could unite our intentions for a worldwide agenda of moving forward into a world where we can not only explore free energy and have life here as the most pursuit of happiness we possibly ever can imagine, as well as outside of this planet, outside of our galaxy, or at least our solar system, into our galaxy. I see that as our future. I truly see that as our future. And I'm going to hold that intention for many others who see that going forward, that as we get past this world of just hate and anger and division, as we replace, and I mean we replace these power brokers who have abused their power, who have abused their authority, to the point of crimes against humanity, as we replace them, and they will be replaced one way or another, they will be replaced with people who are more in line with their spiritual self, who are more in line with looking forward to growing and exploring the world, exploring not only within, but exploring without, and doing it with harmony and peace and love, and a prime directive type of perspective of not wanting to harm others, always making it a primary directive. And as we incorporate this into our belief system, as we start training and training children to understand that level of hopefulness, not to go to school and wear masks and to be in fear all day long, but that they can explore this Agenda 21, these agendas of depopulation, all this stuff will go to waste as we expand and move forward in this, not only in this world here, but outside of our world, in our solar system, and so on and beyond. That's what I see to be true, but it comes with an intention, Doc. It comes with having an intention, and it comes with holding an intention, and it comes with uniting like-minded souls to move in that direction. Are we there yet? Are we talking about decades from now, maybe a century from now? I don't know. I do know there's technology out there that this stuff is happening, but it's only in a handful of people's hands. Only a certain amount of humans actually have it. And I think at this point, as this gets shared and spread, you'll have a culture transformation across the board with billions of people, as long as if they don't depopulate people in the meantime. And this is why it's so critical now for us to speak up, share, hold that intention of the future we want, replace the people who are in power positions now with people who will actually move us forward to this new world, this new solar system, this new galaxy of living. And as we put people like that in position, who are doing this because they want true change for the betterment of humanity, not because you're black or you're or Chinese or whatever it may be, but of humanity and all that comes with humanity. And as we create this intention, we hold it and we start making decisions and we start replacing people and we start making policies that actually move us in that direction, I truly believe that will be our reality. I'm going to hold that until the day I die, Doc.
There you go. Beautiful. And something to definitely shoot for. So, how can people get in touch with you? How can they find out more about your show? And why don't you leave them with some information?
Absolutely. We're creating this new site, and we're almost done with it. We'll, like as we were talking to you earlier, it's OTT, so we'll be on Roku, and it's going to be for people such as yourself, others who are influencers out there, the chance to get their information out there, all videos, and as well as our other shows that we'll have that we create our own content. And we're going to give opportunity to unite, like a Reddit, unite people with like-minded beliefs to have many different categories. There'll be people in the, the social and economical categories, or people in entertainment, people in controversy, whatever it may be, or whatever the case. We'll have different categories, so you have a chance to put your information there and get seen not only on Roku, but also seen on our website and seen through social media means as well. So if you want to learn more about that, go to uimedianetwork.org, uimedianetwork.org, and catch what we're doing. We're hopefully maybe 30 days out of moving our website into position, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to give a lot of people a lot of opportunity to help create the reality that I believe will move us in a direction of humanity uniting and raising the frequency, which is our tagline for UI Media Network, is raising the frequency. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take people such as yourself, myself, and millions of others to help raise that frequency to a point of what we want to experience, not only what we don't want to experience.
Thank you, Tim. That's wonderful. I want to thank you, Tim, for being on the show today. And I'm sure we'll do many more. And the thing is that we are aligned. Tim's doing the same type of thing that I'm doing. So we're working in the same direction. So what you want to do is you want to get like-minded people to come together, because united we stand. Right, Tim?
Amen to that, brother.
All right. Thanks for joining me today, and have the best day of your life.
I sure will. And thank you, Doctor. Same to you.
You're welcome. Well, everybody, that was Tim Ray, United Intentions. Make sure you check it out, okay? All right, like I say, you can't get information from just one person. And in life, your coach is going to change many times. You'll find that you'll come to someone, you'll learn, then you'll move on. And that's what it is. We just keep bringing those beautiful pieces together to create our own image, our own puzzle. And you want the best life ever? Then guess what? Talk to people that have a high vibration like you want, and take on that vibration. So let me just end up by saying this. Monday, July 13th, everybody, there'll be a Doc Talk Live Q&A at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can always write every question that you have on any of our Facebook shows. We collect them. You can do them on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Okay, or you can call in if you have trouble doing it that way, and we'll take your questions. And I'll be taking live questions as well, so you can put them right in on the show when I come on the show at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on July 13th, and I'll answer them live. Okay, live questions usually we'll do first. Then on Wednesday, July the 15th, I have Crystal Bowl Healing and Meditation with Dina Rahil. Now, that'll be at 3 p.m. as well, Pacific Standard Time. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about crystals and frequencies, and making music from crystal bowls, and how you can actually adjust your own frequency by doing this. Isn't that something amazing? And then she's going to come back after we do the actual interview, and she's going to come back and do a live meditation with her crystal bowls and healing for everybody who would like to come on the show. All right, so you'll pick a nice quiet spot, and you'll get yourself comfy, and you'll connect to your lion heart breathing, and we'll see if it's true that music and vibration can heal the soul. Okay, July the 14th, we're going to be starting an advanced water fasting challenge, everyone. That means I come on every day except the weekends, and I will actually come on every day at 10 a.m. in the morning, and we will actually answer all your questions for those who are fasting, those who would like to fast, whether it's about how to do a coffee enema, the nutrition we take, the symptoms you're having, the experience you're feeling emotionally or physically. Just know that we're here for you. And also, personal treatment and trainings have opened up. Right now we have 3 different groups here for personal treatment and trainings, and we're also sending our master trainers out now to do treatment and trainings all over the world. So check out our personal treatment and training guide in our library if you'd like to learn how to do the Wolfe non-surgical, and you want to learn about how to create that emotional, nutritional, detox, perfect day for yourself and your whole family, we'll fly to you. We'll come there for anywhere from 7 days to longer, or you can come to us and stay in our beautiful oasis condo that overlooks the mountains and the lakes here. And just prepare for the training of your life, because I will tell you something. I don't care what your physical condition is, and I don't care if somebody says to you, well, you know, this is all we can do for you. Well, that's all they can do for you. Okay, limited beliefs give limited thinking. I just want you to take that one and take it to heart. All right, and also you might want to get a consultation, and it's the most inexpensive consultation you'll ever get, one-time fee, and we will support you for life, and we will create a perfect day for you. Go take a look at my consultations on docofdetox.com, and we have upcoming courses. I think it's actually starting around September the 12th, and it's in Orlando, Florida. It's 21 days. It's the Whole Life Coach certification and the Wolfe Non-Surgical. Look, come and I'll give you the best training you've ever had in your life. I don't care if you've been a practitioner for 20 or 30 years or you've never been one, okay? Everybody has a genius and a practitioner hidden within inside themselves. And it'll be at the Omni 5-star resort, and then I'll be back to the United States, into California, Palm Springs, November the 17th till November the 6th to do another 21-day course. And then we're going to be doing a Kelowna course as well. The Kelowna course is going to be, let me see here, is actually going to be in October in Kelowna. And then on November 28th until December the 18th, I'm in Palm Springs, everyone. So if you want to come to Palm Springs this year to take my training, or Orlando, just know that all our courses are limited. We will not just take everybody that comes. We keep them small to keep the training powerful. All right? February, we'll be doing a course in Extapa in February. And don't forget to email me if you want more information. Quick start at docofdetox.com for my 7 empowering steps. And you can call in and we'll send you my book free. You only pay the shipping. And don't forget, everyone, every Monday you can join me for my Doc Talk Q&As that I'll answer all your questions. Okay, and it's seen live on YouTube, Facebook, Intercom. And if you want to listen to any of our shows, you'll find them on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you go to YouTube, we timestamp every show so you can see the topic you want. So anyways, everyone, God bless. Have a beautiful day. And look, every day when you wake up, say, how can I create the perfect day? And then repeat that every day to have the adventure of a lifetime. 3, 2, 1. I know you got this. God bless. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.